This is the fourth part of our course on reading financial data and getting financial data all structured so you can make a financial analysis and also make a financial forecast and everything. Okay, now we've read the data in, we've used this read PDF file to make adjustments. Those two are pretty easy. This was a pain. It took the longest of anything, is just getting the data together. So now all the data in the assets, we've got all the assets together, we've got all the liabilities and equity together, we've got all the profit and loss together, we've got all the cash flow together, we've got the summary together, we've got the accumulated other comprehensive income even together. Okay, now in this part of the video we're just going to put this all into kind of one format. It turns out that this Carlsberg wasn't so bad. Okay, the assets, you can see that basically they had the same categories of assets for the first couple of years. We could have just almost copied these and pasted them, but then we get to this year and suddenly they changed the format of the assets. Okay, and so we only have two kind of changes. That's not so bad. In this one, we might have had a couple more changes of the assets. Profit and loss, again, this really wasn't so bad. Cash flow, usually we have some differences. I'm just looking at how many lines there are. So we have some assets that are different, and then we have the summary page and all that. So what we're going to do is now put this all together. To put this all together, we're going to use this union function to get all the titles arranged in a concrete way, and then we'll use, instead of using the index and match separately, I just think it's better to make an index match function. Now, to do this, step one in this process, step one is to get the functions to the file. Okay, and step two is then to use the union function for a list, and step three will be to use the index and match function. Okay, now let's go to the assets and let's start it here. Okay, so step one is we go down to our read PDF file, and in our read PDF file we can right click and go to the one that says union functions here, and just press edit. Don't run it, just press edit. Okay, and then this has all the things you need. Now the most important thing to do here is to make sure this is the code for the union function, but the most important thing is to get this option base 1 at the top. You don't need this help really, but it doesn't really hurt to copy the whole thing. So press Control A to copy it, and then you go back to your sheet. Okay, and you don't have a macro yet. What you can do is go to macros and just create. Oh, I have one. I created one. Let's put new macro or something, and just press create. Okay, and then we have this. Now make sure when you copy it that you don't copy it after this. You need the option base 1 all the way at the very top. Okay, now let's go back to our sheet. Okay, and then what we're going to do is start to make a master list. Okay, so I'm going to shift Control plus a few times, this is going to be our list of accounts. this is a function like the transpose function where you select an area and then we're going to put in the union function, and it's going to put all of our titles together. And hopefully on this one, if we, I haven't tried it yet, you know, I'm going to put equal union. Okay. I noticed, I'm kind of depressed today. I noticed that the Excel 2016 has a lot of my cash flow, the waterfall graphs already there. It's very similar to what I was doing. That's kind of sad. Now if we, so maybe they're going to make a union function too. It's about time they did that. Now what we do is for the union function, we just click different ranges in. So I'm going to click this range. Now why don't we just do it for the first two ranges, which should be identical. So we just press Shift Control Enter. Oops. To Shift Control Enter. I don't know what I just did wrong there. Let me press F2 and Shift Control Enter again. Oh, you can see that the non-current assets, it had a slightly different title for the non-current assets, so we just put this over here, and now our union function kind of fixes it. And then for we have the net retirement benefit plans. Now they, for some reason, when we read it in, we got a little space. And for this one, we can just put there. Now we fixed that one. For the total non-current assets, for some reason, this one had a tiny bit of an indent. Okay. And then for the current assets, for some reason, one of them had a colon inventory. So I'm going to hopefully take this one. And where are the total current assets? Again, we have the same kind of thing. So for this one, we'll just go over here. And then assets held for sale again. We have a little bit of a different titles. These little different titles would have caused a nightmare, really, when we're trying to make our match and index. Okay, so now let's try the union function again. And this time, I suppose we'll do it even here, and we'll put F2, Shift F3. If you press Shift F3, you can get another thing. So let's go over to the third range and do it here. Okay. And why don't we just be really aggressive here? This is the third range, right? This second. I can't remember if this was the right one. No. Q. No, we didn't do T. Let's make the thing for T. Ah, shoot. Excuse me. I didn't swear. Okay, T and QT W. Okay, and let's make one more. And that would be for this one. Okay, we're not quite finished. Shift and press OK. I better press F2. Shift Control Enter. Okay, it's really not so bad. We've got some differences here. I can't even see the difference. Oh, retirement benefit and retirement net assets. Some colons here. Some total assets. So perhaps what I'm going to do is just press an Alt WFF to make a thing, and the first thing we can do is make sure. I suppose we can make sure all of these things are the same. It's kind of silly, but I don't know why they changed that a little bit. Okay. Alright. Okay, and then we have some horrible thing where it says non-current assets. For some reason they have a different title, which is kind of ridiculous to waste a lot of time with, but we should have, as with hindsight, we should have gone the other way. Oh no, looks like this one is the same here. Make sure we, just in case we're going to do the same thing over here, in case we have some spaces. Okay, so now we have investments in associates, property, plant, and equipment, and we're down to retirement benefit plan assets. Retirement net benefit assets. There's net assets still here, and here they decided to change it on us. Okay, so I'm going to just put all of these in to make absolutely sure that we don't have any kind of thing. And then it seems that they didn't put this. I think what they did is they probably started recording this as they either had a liability, it switched to a liability, or an alternative, they might have accounted for it somehow in other accumulated other comprehensive income. Okay, so it looks like we fixed that. And then we have these silly little inventory problems here. So let's, instead of wasting a lot of time thinking, well, okay. And this one, they seem to go back to the regular old one again. Okay. Alright, and I'm going all the way. Why not? Okay, so now we have that one. We have trade receivables, tax receivables, other prepayments, and we have total assets, which are out of order. This union function is not absolutely perfect. It doesn't know how to sort things. It shouldn't. It can't. Maybe that's why Excel doesn't have one. And then you have current assets and assets held for sale. So when we finally finish this, we're going to have to rearrange the order a little bit. Okay? So now let's continue. Let's press F2 and Shift F3. Okay, and get the rest of this in here. Okay. So we have Z. Let's go after column Z. What do we have? Then we have only two more columns. We have AC. Okay, and we have finally column AF. Okay, and then finally in the very last column we have column AI. I hope that's it. Shift Control Enter. Enter maybe, and then Shift Control Enter. And then just press F2, Shift Control Enter. Okay, so now we've investments and associates and joint ventures. They changed this. I know this is kind of boring, but this is supposed to be very realistic, which it is, I hope. Cash and receivables. Total assets. Now total assets got to the bottom somehow. Don't ask me exactly why. They have other receivables. It looks like the only real problem we have is this investments in associates and joint ventures. So this is investments in associates and joint ventures. So they started changing the title here. Okay, it might actually on this one have been better to put them all as this other title, but I think it's not that big a deal. Okay, so now we have a consistent set of titles. That's the big deal. Okay, now once we have a consistent set of titles, just like this, then we'll use, now what we could do is if we did this by hand, I would want to start for 2006, the first one I pointed with my hand. That was kind of idiotic. Okay, and maybe I'll even put it here. I could put equal match first. Okay, and then we could match this against this whole column, and then put a comma 0. And then after that, we'd put an index. That would give us that we're in row number 2. And then we'll put an index. And then we'd put in column L, and we'd put the match and the index together. And we'd have to do that each time. We'd have to kind of go through the match and the index. And instead of doing that, I'd put an index match function. It does essentially the same thing. And it's not very descriptive, but the lookup value is always going to be over here. So you can press an F4 on that one. And then we're going to make a master list. And on the master list, I'm going to press F4. Oops. Oh, shoot. Excuse me for that. F4. Okay, and then let's look at the master list. And that's this one. And we press F4. Now, I think you can remember this after we do the next one. And then we put the numbers. Okay. And then we just press no F4s. That's okay. This time it's not a array function, so you can just press Control D. And I didn't mean to press the F4 here. I should have only pressed the F4 clearly on B, right? Okay. I can pretend that I did that on purpose. If generic macros are open, you can press, you can't. Shift Control D. That's kind of my little thing, and now you can copy that across. Now the only problem here, Control R to get one to the right. Okay, the only problem here is we'll have to kind of do the same thing. Let's just copy it once. This time we're going to move this. How about before that we move this one over 1. Okay, just 1, and then this one over 1. Okay, and then we can get that for the next 2 years. And then let's Alt WFF again. It's almost faster to do it with the mouse, isn't it? That sucks. Oops, I'm not supposed to say things like that. I get strict instructions. Strict, very strict instructions not to swear. Okay, and then we can, oops. See, that's not working the way I really wanted it to. I wanted to be able to just copy this, well, whatever. So now that didn't really help, that last thing, did it? Okay. I hate it when I waste your time. I really do. Okay. And then I paste that. So let's do a couple more. Okay. And copy this one. And copy. No, let's just do it for once. Okay. And push it over. Okay. And I think I'm going to stop here. You get the idea. Okay, the key thing really is to use the F4s appropriately. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing that this is a little bit of a longer video, but now I just did the same thing for the last time. I just want to make a little comment about being dogmatic, about being anti-mouse. What a ridiculous thing to do. Shortcuts are very good, but the mouse can help. I don't think, what's his name at Apple invented the mouse. It was invented by somebody else. There's credit for this crap that they say. Oh, and this one didn't have any years, that's why I got a 0. This one we better put the, oh, okay. Well, now let's copy this down and make sure it all copies. Okay, I'm worried about the years in that very last one. Okay, so we've got the whole series kind of finished. Just 1 minute. Okay. Excuse me, I copied the years down in this last one. Okay. But that's using the union plus the index match function. Okay, I'm going to turn off the video and do it for a couple of the other financial statements, but the process will be pretty much similar. Now we're going to have to sort this data and arrange this data and do a few other things with the data, but I'm going to do that in the next video. Okay, I've done the other half now of the balance sheet. That's a little bit slow, but I was much braver and did the whole union statement together, and then now I'm just showing how we copy it down, and then we get all of the rest of the financials. In this case, the year was a little off because of the way we had a title for the year. I'm a little bit worried about this total equities and liabilities, but we'll probably just I'll get a title. Okay, and let me pause that. Okay, you might have turned the video off by now, hopefully, but if we want to do everything together, we just put union, okay, and then let's just get every single one at the same time, okay. These for the profit and loss statement, hopefully, I doubt it really happened like this, but hopefully it will be that the titles are similar enough, and of course the titles have to be exact for you to use the match function in the match and index. That's why it's so important. That's why we can't just use approximate titles. Okay, shift control enter, and then we get them all at once. Okay, and then I'm gonna go and see, we can start to see where the problems are across the whole thing. All right. So we have DKK million, DKK million, DKK million. Oops, here's where it started to change, and go through this one by one. Okay, I'm going to stop this because this video is getting too long. Alright, I just have one other little comment on this, and then I'll finish the video. What you could do is, when you're making the union function, you can press Control Spacebar, select the lines, and then Shift alternate right arrow. That's Control Spacebar, Shift alternate right arrow, Control Spacebar. Oops, Shift Spacebar, Control Spacebar, Shift alternate right arrow. Now, after you've done that, it probably, and really saw this in going through the cash flow statement. You know, it's probably good, just like in some of these delete macros, probably good to begin at the end, not at the beginning, because then titles, the kind of calibration of the titles will all really be starting with the last one, not the beginning. So press Shift Alternate right arrow on all of these, and then press number 1 now, so we can kind of see these things. Let's press number 2 for just a minute. Let's get on. Oops, there's some background. There's some refrigeration noise. I'm sitting at the Paris Cafe in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and the refrigeration is going pretty good. So there's our kind of thing. We can see some of them a little bit. Alright, now let's try our union function this time. For our union function, go down and make enough space, but equal union. Hope I've done this enough. And then this time, start with the end. Okay? We go to the next one. Okay. Next one. The next one. Next one. Okay. Enough of that. I'm going to finish this off because I don't want to switch the video off in the middle of a the last one. Okay, and then Shift Control Enter. And now we're going to go backwards, and now it will really calibrate to the last one. So when I go backwards, we've got 5 years summary for here. We'll kind of go back like this. Oops, IFRS like this. Okay, and how about soft drink, income statement, net revenue. So now we'll look for this net operating profit, EBITDA. That's probably what it is. Well, excuse me, I'm going to just switch it off. But what we do is each time we go backwards, so we'd go back this way instead of the other. So if we want operating profit before special items, we'll go back this way, not the other way. Alright? That way, the kind of last year will be the right ordering for all of the accounts. That's enough. That's a very long video.